All right, there's our card, the first one, and I used Very Vanilla. I hardly ever use Very Vanilla, but this one, as you can see, needed the Very Vanilla and not the white. And I used the rose one. What is that one called? It's over here. Tulle Wild Rose. It's in my stack over here. So I used the Tulle Wild Rose and the matching framelits later on. And I didn't use this one. I used this one and this one. So this piece is the Very Vanilla, and I have to tell you a story. I had all of my papers cut this morning and I couldn't find this one. I searched high and low. I picked up my cutter, I picked up my scoreboard, I looked behind the cabinet, couldn't find it anywhere. Come to find out it was stuck on the back of one of the others. But I finally found it. So we're going to get started with this. So you're going to need a piece of Very Vanilla, and it is 5.5 by 8.5, and it is scored at 4 1/4. All right. And the first thing you're going to do is you're going to take So Saffron. And I thought this was a great color to use for this. And when you put these down, watch your pieces. What I did was I put this one on first, and I had this big piece over here. Hey, Jean. Hey, Diane. And I then took this one and I figured out, okay, this piece and this piece goes together. So I put it on that way, and that way all I have to do is stamp it like so, and then I can get them to line up. Do the same thing with the other one, but this one is a little bit tricky since it doesn't have, it's such a light color. All right, now I'm going to ink this one up. And I need a piece of scrap paper because I found did I stamp off? Yeah, I forgot to, no, I didn't. I stamped that one first, and then I decided I wanted to stamp off. So I'm going to put this down because I wanted just a hint of color like that. All right. Then I pulled out my the mailing labels, the repositionable mailing labels, and I created a mask, and I stuck that down, and then I used Pretty Peacock for my leaves. Yay, Jean! Right? And I stamped those down here, and I'm going to go up a little higher than I did for the other. And I'm going to come down a little bit on this one because I went up a little too high on that. All right, and then I'm going to take this the one that you fill in. It's not the one with all the lines. You can still see some of the lines, but it's more. Whoops, I missed a spot. And I off-stamped this twice because I wanted it really light. So I'm getting it lined up. All right. So I have to concentrate. Are you talking about the repositionable ones, Tina? All right, so we've got that done. Now, if you're very careful when you take this off, it will not rip, because if it rips, it's a little harder to reuse. So just take your time and pull it up. And I don't know if you can see, but when I used to do this with a Post-it note, there was always a halo around there. There is no halo. It is so minute, it isn't funny. And Tina, I'm going to grab it. this is what it is. It's removable ID labels. And I got the 8.5 by 11, the full sheets, and I got them at Walmart. So that's what I use for that mask. And you can reuse it. I mean, I've used it several times. I stamped on it and cut it out, and it's not coming through. And I found that with the Post-it notes, you know, with this being so dark, I probably wouldn't have been able to reuse it. I would have probably had to make a second one. So you are quite welcome. Now I am going to take my sentiment and stamp it in Rich Razzleberry. And I know what you're thinking. You're going, why are you stamping it in Rich Razzleberry? Well, you'll see with the next card. And I decided to stamp it up here. And if you wanted, you could very easily stamp it down there. I mean, you can stamp it wherever you want. There's space there, there. You can even add some embellishments if you want, but this is a clean and simple card. So there's our first card. And I wanted to step it up. So here's what I did. I used my color. I changed from portrait to landscape with it. You could always do this one in landscape also. I just stamped this one first and then realized, oh, I probably should have done it the other way. All right, this is the piece I'm going to show you how to do. And that is a piece, I'm going to pull this in so you can see. That is a piece of shimmery white, and it's 3 3/4 by 5. So there it is. All right, I'm going to show you. I used this up yesterday, so I'm going to show you how I, Lynn, you have to go into the paper department and you really have to look, but they are there. All right, I'm going to show you how I make my spritzers. First of all, you need 91% alcohol. When you go into the Walmart, they have different amounts. I think the normal is 79. You want the 81, and the reason being is 91% evaporates faster. So that's why people will say get 91%. It evaporates faster. All right, now I'm doing this on my spritzer. I've had these spritzers for probably 10 years. Long before Stampin' Up! Came out with them. All right, I got to get my towel because I'm getting ink on my hand. All right, so what I do is I use my alcohol, and that's why I'm doing it over this. And I fill it up. Get this out of the way. Hold on, I'm going to clean this up a little bit. I'm going to put the top back on. I'm not done, but I wanted to show you. That's about how much I filled up. So hopefully you can see that. I'm waiting to see what it looks like on mine. Oops, up too high. So you can see it's not quite full. It's almost full. All right. And the next thing you need to do, that little piece came out, is you want to take your re-inker. That's another reason I need a towel, because this needs to be dry in there. You're going to take your re-inker, and I have found in this one, which is smaller, I put about 10 drops. Sorry, I was counting. And I'll find a Stampin' Up! One. I think I have one over there on the shelf I can look at and see. I'm taking that out now. And I'm going to put this in here. All right. I'm only cleaning that out. And then you want to shake it. No water. Tina, the water won't evaporate. The alcohol will. I know a lot of people use water, but it takes so long to dry. I'm doing this, and by the time I'm ready to put it on the card, it's going to be dry. All right. So there's that. And then you want to do this in something, a box or something. I just grabbed this because I could clean it out afterwards. All right, let me spray this after I've got it shaken up good. Now, when you spray this, make sure you spray it in the right direction. You don't know how many times I've sprayed in the wrong direction. And all you're gonna do is spray the paper. And I'm going to, as you can see, there's some water, alcohol there. I'm going to move this over to a spot to dry. I have a craft mat over here for it to sit on to dry. And let me get one of the Stampin' Up! Spritzers. You would have to use more re-inkers. Is this a Stampin' Up? No. Well, daggone all. I bought 50 of these. Somebody did a, here's a Stampin' Up! One. Somebody did a bulk buy. And see the difference? I mean, the Stampin' Up! One is about 3/4 of an inch taller. But I will tell you, I like the smaller size because, as you can see, it's separated and you really have to shake it. Plus, if you don't use it, see that one? See how it's just kind of, and this is, I think this is Daffodil is what this is. But see how it's clumped down in there because I haven't used it so long? I've never had it do that with this because you're not putting as much in there. Now you could use smaller amounts and just adjust it. And what I do is once I mix it, I spritz it on something like paper. If it's not dark enough, add more re-inker. So that's how you dye your paper. And I'm going to set those back in my bin. Wipe my hands off real good. All right, so I've got that part made. I then took and I stamped the image the same way I did this, but I cut it out with the framelit. And I did the leaves the same way and cut them out. My sentiment, I added to a strip of vanilla and then I just trimmed around it. So let me see. This is almost dry. I'm going to wave it in the air a little bit. Give it a little bit longer. It's still kind of wet down here. You can also hit this with the heat tool and dry it, but I usually just wave it in the air. It's getting there. All right, let me put my flower together and my card base straight. You can do so much with re-inkers. It's just amazing. All right, make sure I don't have any on my hands. Then I need my glue dots. And I'm going to add a glue dot to this one. And let's see, I'm going to put that up there. And I'm going to add this one. To the back of this, and I'm going to put it down here like so. Now when you do this, watch the size of your leaves. Oh, that one's, you barely see it. I'll shift it just a little bit. And I'm going to add dimensionals on the back. Should have cut these beforehand, and I think I'm going to run out. I thought I had more over here. All right, this one keeps moving on me, so I'm going to take and stick it down with a dimensional also. All right, and then I just put a dimensional on the back of each of the leaves. And then this will be all ready to put together. And I can add this So as you can see, I added a lot of dimensionals. All right, I'm going to put this on. Yeah, it's still just a little bit damp down here. You know, where is my, oh, my tear and tape is over here. I'm going to get another thing of dimensionals too. All right. Oh, this one is empty. Grab the wrong one. All right, so here's my tear and tape, and I'm going to add this to the back. And this needs to be dry or your tear and tape won't stick. To it.